What if I told you that the moment she rejects you is actually the moment you gain the advantage? Most men see rejection as a loss. Stoic men see it as freedom. Today you'll learn 13 powerful lessons that turn rejection into strength, confidence, and personal power. Rejection hurts. Whether she ignores your message, turns down a date, or walks away completely, it can shake your confidence. But Stoic philosophy teaches a different view. Rejection is not something to fear, it is something to use. Every rejection gives you a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more focused. Comment, I reclaim my power. Lesson 1. Do not take it personally. One sentence from her can change the direction of your entire week if you allow it. And that is exactly why this lesson matters so much, because many men quietly build their identity around being chosen by a woman without even realizing it. And when she pulls away, ignores them, leaves them on red, says she is not interested, or suddenly gives her attention to another man, they do not simply think they lost an opportunity. They begin questioning their value as a human being. And that is where the real damage begins, because what hurts is not her decision. What hurts is the meaning you attach to her decision. And if you are not careful, you start creating stories in your head that have nothing to do with reality, telling yourself that you are not attractive enough, successful enough, confident enough, interesting enough, and before long you are carrying emotional weight that was never yours to carry in the first place, because her choice reflects her preferences, her circumstances, her emotions, her priorities, and her own limitations, not your worth as a man. And once you understand this, a huge burden begins to leave your shoulders, because you stop treating every woman's opinion as a final verdict on your value. Think about it for a moment. If one employer refuses to hire you, does it mean you are incapable of success? If one person dislikes a meal you cooked, does it mean you cannot cook? If one stranger dislikes your personality, does it mean you are a bad person? Of course not. Yet many men allow one woman's decision to become the foundation of their self-image. And that is exactly why they remain stuck for years, constantly seeking approval instead of building confidence from within. And the Stoic path teaches something far more powerful. It teaches you to separate your value from external opinions, because anything that depends on another person's approval can be taken away at any moment. But when your confidence comes from your character, discipline, actions, and purpose, nobody can take it from you. And this is where your transformation begins, because instead of asking why she did not choose you, start asking a different question. What have you neglected in your own life while obsessing over someone else's choice? Maybe your goals have been ignored. Maybe your health has suffered. Maybe your finances need attention. Maybe you have spent months thinking about her while your own future waits for you to take action. And this realization changes everything, because now the focus returns to where it belongs, on your own life. And that shift alone gives you more power than chasing explanations ever will, because explanations rarely change anything, but growth changes everything. And the man who stops taking things personally becomes incredibly difficult to break, because he understands that every person's actions are shaped by factors beyond his control, which means he no longer wastes energy trying to control them, he controls himself. And that is where true strength begins. Lesson 2. Control your emotions. A man who cannot control his emotions gives other people control over his life, and this becomes painfully obvious whenever a woman withdraws her attention, because suddenly many men become someone they do not even recognize, checking their phone every few minutes, replaying conversations in their head, losing sleep, losing focus, losing direction, and allowing one person's actions to dictate their mood, productivity, and peace of mind. And the frightening part is that it often happens without them noticing, because emotional reactions rarely announce themselves. They quietly take over your thinking until they become your reality. And that is why learning emotional control is one of the most important skills you will ever develop, because life will constantly present situations that test your ability to remain steady under pressure. And if your emotional state depends on everything going your way, then life will keep throwing you around like a leaf in the wind. But if you learn to remain grounded regardless of circumstances, you become a man who cannot easily be shaken, and that quality changes every area of your life, not just relationships, because emotional control helps you make better financial decisions, better career decisions, better health decisions, and better relationship decisions. And the truth many men avoid is that emotional reactions often create more damage than the original problem ever did, because one emotional text can destroy your dignity. One emotional decision can ruin months of progress. One emotional outburst can expose weakness that takes years to rebuild. And that is why the strongest response is rarely the fastest response. It is the most deliberate one. And imagine this scenario. She suddenly stops replying after weeks of consistent communication. Your mind immediately starts creating stories. Maybe she found someone else. Maybe you said something wrong. Maybe she never liked you at all. And before any evidence exists, your emotions are already dragging you toward conclusions that may not even be true. And that is exactly why you must learn to pause before reacting. Because not every thought deserves your attention, and not every emotion deserves your obedience. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is nothing at all. Sometimes the greatest display of strength is refusing to act until clarity returns. And when you develop this habit, something remarkable begins to happen, because instead of being controlled by temporary emotions, you become guided by principles, and principles remain steady while emotions constantly change, and this creates a level of peace that many men spend their entire lives searching for, because they believe peace comes from getting everything they want, when in reality, peace comes from mastering how you respond when you do not get what you want. And once you understand that distinction, your entire life begins to change in ways you never expected. Lesson 3. Stop chasing her. A man loses himself long before he loses a woman, and it usually starts the moment he begins chasing someone who has already shown him where he stands, because instead of accepting reality, he starts negotiating with it, convincing himself that one more message, one more conversation, one more chance, one more attempt will somehow change everything. And before he realizes it, he is investing more energy into someone else's interest than into his own future. And that is a dangerous place to live, because the more you chase, the further away your self-respect moves from you. And many men never notice this happening because society teaches them that persistence solves everything. But there is a difference between persistence toward a goal and persistence toward someone who has clearly decided not to walk beside you. And confusing those two things creates years of unnecessary pain. Because every day you spend trying to convince someone to see your value is a day you are not building your value. And that distinction changes everything once you truly understand it. Because think about the men you admire, the men who command respect wherever they go, the men who seem calm, focused, and grounded. Do they spend their days trying to force people to appreciate them? Or do they spend their days becoming so valuable that opportunities naturally come toward them? And that is the path you must choose, because chasing creates scarcity in your mind. It tells you that this one person is your only chance at happiness. But that belief is false. And deep down you know it is false, because before she entered your life, you survived without her. You had dreams before her, goals before her, ambitions before her, and those things still exist waiting for your attention. Yet many men abandon all of it the second they become emotionally attached, and then they wonder why they feel empty when she leaves, because they handed over the center of their life to someone who never asked for that responsibility. And the Stoic path teaches you to build a life so meaningful that nobody becomes the source of your identity. because when your purpose is strong, your reactions become smaller, and when your mission is clear, distractions lose their grip on you. And imagine two men facing the exact same situation. One spends 6 months trying to win back a woman who has already moved on, while the other spends those same 6 months improving his health, growing his income, strengthening his discipline, expanding his knowledge, and creating a future worth living. Which man do you think wakes up stronger at the end of that period? And more importantly, which man do you think respects himself more? Because self-respect is earned through actions, not wishes, and the man who stops chasing begins rediscovering parts of himself that he forgot existed. His ambition returns, his confidence returns, his direction returns, and suddenly what once felt like a devastating loss starts looking like the very thing that pushed him toward becoming someone stronger than he ever imagined possible. And there is another truth many men avoid because it challenges everything they want to believe. If someone genuinely wants to be in your life, they will make it easier, not harder. And once you accept that reality, you stop wasting precious years pursuing people who have already given you an answer through their actions, and your attention finally returns to the one person who can actually change your life, yourself. Lesson 4. Accept reality fast. The longer you argue with reality, the longer you suffer. And this lesson alone has the power to save you years of emotional exhaustion, because many men spend enormous amounts of time fighting what has already happened, replaying events, searching for hidden meanings, hoping circumstances will somehow reverse themselves, refusing to accept what is directly in front of them, and that resistance creates far more pain than the actual situation itself, because reality does not care about what we wish were true. Reality only responds to what is true, and learning to accept that quickly is one of the greatest advantages you can develop in life, because acceptance is not weakness. Acceptance is clarity, and clarity gives you the ability to move forward while everyone else remains trapped in denial. And consider how many men remain emotionally stuck for months or even years because they keep waiting for something to change, waiting for a message, waiting for an apology, waiting for an explanation, waiting for a second chance, while their own life slowly passes by in the background. And what makes this even more tragic is that they often know exactly what the situation is, but they refuse to accept it, because acceptance requires courage, and courage means facing uncomfortable truths without running from them. And that is what separates strong men from weak ones. Because strong men do not waste energy wishing reality were different. They study reality and adapt to it, and this principle applies to every area of life, not just relationships. Because maybe your career is not where it should be, maybe your habits are holding you back, maybe your discipline is weaker than you admit, maybe your health needs attention, and the sooner you honestly acknowledge those facts, the sooner you can begin changing them, because denial delays progress while acceptance accelerates it. And imagine a man standing in a sinking boat refusing to admit there is water coming in because he dislikes the idea. Does his refusal stop the water? Of course not. It simply wastes valuable time that could have been spent solving the problem. And many men approach life exactly this way, refusing to acknowledge reality until circumstances force them to. And by then, they have lost years. They can never get back. So when she walks away, when she loses interest, when her actions clearly show where she stands, accept it quickly, not because it feels good, but because reality accepted quickly becomes freedom. And freedom allows you to redirect your energy towards something productive instead of remaining trapped in a situation that no longer serves you. And once you develop this habit, you begin moving through life with a level of calm that others struggle to understand, because while they remain trapped arguing with facts, you are already building the next chapter of your life. Lesson 5. Protect your self-respect. A man can lose money and earn it back, lose opportunities and create new ones, lose relationships and build better ones. But once he repeatedly abandons his self-respect, rebuilding it becomes far more difficult because self-respect is the foundation upon which confidence stands, and without it, every achievement feels hollow, every success feels incomplete, and every relationship becomes unstable because deep down you know you are betraying yourself, and that betrayal often begins in small ways that seem harmless at first. Accepting treatment you know is wrong, tolerating disrespect to avoid being alone, lowering your standards because you fear losing someone, constantly making excuses for behavior that clearly damages your peace of mind. And before long, you wake up wondering why you no longer recognize yourself, because every compromise against your values leaves a mark. And many men do this because they believe preserving the relationship is more important than preserving their dignity. But the opposite is true, because once dignity disappears, the relationship itself becomes unhealthy anyway. And this is why protecting your self-respect must become non-negotiable, because people learn how to treat you by observing what you tolerate. And if you repeatedly accept poor treatment, do not be surprised when poor treatment continues, because boundaries teach others where your standards begin, and standards protect your future from unnecessary pain. And think about a man who constantly chases after someone who only contacts him when she is bored, who repeatedly ignores his messages, who only gives attention when it benefits her. And despite all the evidence he remains available every single time, what message is he sending? Not to her, but to himself. He is teaching himself that his time is less valuable than hers, that his needs matter less than hers, that his dignity can be exchanged for temporary attention, and that lesson slowly destroys confidence from the inside, which is why protecting your self-respect sometimes requires walking away even when your emotions beg you to stay. Because discipline means choosing what serves your future instead of what temporarily comforts your present. And the remarkable thing is that once you begin respecting yourself, many of the problems that once consumed your mind start disappearing, because you naturally stop entertaining situations that drain your energy, and that creates room for healthier opportunities, stronger relationships, and a deeper sense of inner stability that cannot be purchased or borrowed from anyone else. And if you're serious about building that kind of self-respect, the Stoic Relationship Blueprint for Men is linked in the comments, packed with timeless principles that can immediately change the way you think, act, and approach relationships. And it is now available in audiobook format, allowing you to absorb these life-changing lessons while driving, training, working out, jogging, or going about your day. And the best part is that once you get it, this knowledge is yours forever. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint course for men is also launching in July, giving you a complete step-by-step system to apply these principles in real life. So if you're ready to stop repeating the same mistakes and start becoming the man you know you can be, comment Blueprint below for early access and be among the first to get it. Lesson 6. Focus on yourself. Your greatest advantage begins the day your attention returns to your own life, because many men spend years studying women, analyzing women, worrying about women, trying to understand women, while completely neglecting the one person they actually have control over, themselves. And this misplaced focus quietly steals their potential, because every hour spent obsessing over someone else's choices is an hour not spent improving your own circumstances. And the uncomfortable truth is that many men know far more about the lives of people they desire than they know about their own goals, habits, strengths, weaknesses, and future plans. And that imbalance keeps them trapped, because growth only happens where attention goes. And if your attention constantly belongs to someone else, your growth slows down dramatically. But everything changes when you shift your focus inward, because now your energy starts producing results instead of anxiety. And imagine waking up every morning with a clear plan, knowing exactly what skills you are developing, what goals you are pursuing, what habits you are building, and what kind of man you are becoming. Compare that to waking up wondering whether she replied, whether she still likes you, whether she is talking to someone else, whether things might change one day. Which version of life creates confidence? Which version creates momentum? And which version gives you a future worth looking forward to? Because confidence is not created by attention from women. Confidence is created by evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that you keep promises to yourself. Evidence that you continue moving forward regardless of circumstances. And this is why the Stoic approach always brings you back to what you can control: your actions, your habits, your effort, your discipline, your character, because those things remain available to you every single day, regardless of who enters or leaves your life. And one of the simplest ways to begin this transformation is to sit down with a notebook and write exactly what kind of life you want 3 years from now. Write down your health goals, financial goals, career goals, personal goals, then break them into small daily actions and commit to them consistently. Because massive changes rarely happen overnight. They happen through small actions repeated long enough to become part of who you are. And once you experience the satisfaction of building yourself, something surprising happens. People stop becoming the center of your world because your life itself becomes meaningful. And when your life becomes meaningful, you stop desperately searching for someone else to give it meaning for you. And that shift changes everything, because now relationships become a complement to your life instead of the foundation of it. And that is when real freedom finally begins. Lesson 7. Let silence speak. Nothing confuses people more than a man who refuses to chase after losing someone's attention because the world expects you to react, explain yourself, defend yourself, ask questions, seek answers, and desperately search for closure. Yet the strongest position often comes from doing none of those things, and instead directing your attention back toward your own life, because every time she pulls away, there is a temptation to send one more message, to ask why she changed, to search for reasons that may never come. But what if the answer is already in front of you through her actions? What if the absence of effort is the answer? What if her lack of investment is telling you everything you need to know? And that realization changes everything, because once you stop demanding explanations from people who willingly create distance, you free yourself from a cycle that traps countless men for years. And this is where Stoic thinking becomes powerful, because it teaches you that not every question needs an answer, and not every situation deserves your energy. And think about how much time gets wasted replaying conversations that cannot be changed, imagining future outcomes that may never happen, and waiting for messages that may never arrive. Meanwhile, your goals sit untouched, your potential sights undeveloped, and your future patiently waits for your attention. And the strange part is that the more you focus on your own growth, the less power other people have over your emotions, because purpose fills the empty spaces that obsession once occupied. And imagine a man who spends 3 months checking her social media every day, compared to a man who spends those same 3 months learning new skills, improving his health, building new friendships, and creating opportunities. Both experience the same situation. Yet they arrive at completely different destinations, and that is because attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. So guard it carefully, and if someone willingly walks away, let them experience life without your presence while you become someone stronger, wiser, calmer, and more focused than before, because the greatest response is often a life so full of progress that you no longer have time to look backwards. Lesson 8. Build a better life. Your future begins changing the moment your daily habits begin changing, because no amount of relationship advice will save a life that lacks direction. And this is why so many men remain trapped in the same cycle year after year, constantly searching for the right woman while ignoring the fact that their own foundation is weak, because attraction comes and goes, attention comes and goes, relationships come and go. But the life you build remains with you every single day, and that is where your focus belongs. Because imagine waking up every morning excited about your goals, excited about your progress, excited about who you are becoming. Now compare that to waking up every morning wondering whether she texted you back, whether she still thinks about you, whether she regrets her decision. One path creates growth, while the other creates dependency. And this is why building a better life is not a distraction from your problems. It is the solution to many of them. Because confidence is not something you think your way into. Confidence is earned through action, earned through keeping promises to yourself, earned through doing difficult things consistently, and that means creating routines that strengthen your mind and body, writing down goals and breaking them into small daily tasks, learning skills that increase your value, improving your finances, expanding your knowledge, and becoming someone who respects himself regardless of who enters or leaves his life. And this process is not glamorous. There are mornings when motivation is absent, evenings when progress feels slow, and days when nobody notices your effort. But that is exactly where transformation happens, because discipline grows when excuses lose their influence, and every small victory compounds over time, until one day you realize you have become someone completely different, someone who no longer seeks validation because his life itself has become proof of his worth. And there is something else few people talk about. When your life becomes meaningful, you naturally become more attractive because people are drawn toward those who have purpose, direction, and genuine enthusiasm for their future. But the irony is that by the time you reach that point, external validation matters far less because you are too busy building a life that excites you. Lesson 9. Use pain as fuel. Every difficult experience carries a hidden opportunity that remains invisible until you decide to use it. And nowhere is this more obvious than during emotional disappointment, because pain has a strange way of exposing weaknesses that comfort allows us to ignore. It reveals unhealthy attachments, poor habits, lack of direction, fear of being alone, and dependence on external approval. And while those discoveries may be uncomfortable, they are also incredibly valuable because awareness creates the possibility for change. And think about how often growth enters your life disguised as discomfort. The challenge you wanted to avoid becomes the lesson you needed most. The setback you hated becomes the reason you develop resilience, and the person who walked away becomes the catalyst that pushes you toward a better future. Yet this only happens if you choose growth instead of resentment, because resentment keeps your attention locked onto the past, while growth pulls your attention toward the future. And the difference between those two paths determines who you become. So instead of asking why something happened, ask what it is trying to teach you. Ask which weakness it exposed. Ask which area of your life needs improvement. Ask which habits need to change. Because every painful experience contains information. And information becomes wisdom when applied correctly. And consider a man who spends months blaming others for his situation, compared to a man who spends those same months identifying weaknesses and improving them. One becomes bitter while the other becomes stronger, and years later their lives look completely different, even though they started from the same place. And that is why your greatest breakthroughs often begin during your most difficult periods, because challenge forces growth in ways comfort never can, and the more responsibility you take for your own development, the less power circumstances have over your future. Lesson 10. Walk away with dignity. Walking away is not weakness, it is often the highest form of self-respect, because staying where you are not valued gradually erodes something precious inside you. And while leaving may hurt in the short term, remaining in situations that continuously damage your peace hurts far more over time. Yet countless men struggle with this because they become attached to possibilities instead of realities. They fall in love with what could happen rather than accepting what is happening, and that mindset keeps them trapped, chasing outcomes that never arrive, because hope without evidence can become a prison if you are not careful. And this is why dignity matters so much, because dignity allows you to leave situations that no longer align with your values without creating unnecessary drama, without begging, without pleading, and without sacrificing your self-respect. And imagine standing at a closed door for months, hoping it will suddenly open, while countless opportunities wait elsewhere. How much life would you miss while staring at that one door? And that is exactly what happens when you refuse to move forward, because your attention becomes trapped in one place while the rest of life continues moving. And the Stoic approach teaches acceptance, not passivity. It teaches recognizing reality and responding wisely. And sometimes the wisest response is to leave with your head held high and your standards intact, because people often reveal their intentions through consistent actions. And when those actions repeatedly show disinterest, inconsistency, or disrespect, believing words over actions only prolongs disappointment. So choose dignity, choose self-respect, choose forward movement, because every step away from what drains you creates space for something healthier to enter your life. Lesson 11. Keep your standards high. Your standards determine the quality of your life, because every standard you lower today becomes a problem you tolerate tomorrow. And this is why so many men repeatedly find themselves in situations that leave them frustrated, exhausted, and confused, because they ignore warning signs in exchange for temporary attention, convincing themselves that things will improve later, even when present reality suggests otherwise. And the danger is that repeated compromises slowly become normal, and once unhealthy behavior becomes normal, your expectations shrink without you realizing it, and that affects every area of life, not just relationships, because the standards you accept from others often reflect the standards you hold for yourself. So if you tolerate dishonesty, inconsistency, disrespect, and emotional games from people around you, eventually you begin tolerating mediocrity from yourself as well. And that is where progress begins to disappear, because excellence requires standards, growth requires standards, meaningful relationships require standards, and the strongest position you can occupy is one where you would rather be alone than compromise your values for attention, because attention without respect is worthless, and attention without consistency eventually becomes frustration, and attention without genuine interest creates confusion that drains your energy. So write down the qualities you expect from people entering your life, not based on fantasy, but based on principles: honesty, reliability, respect, effort, accountability, and emotional maturity. Then hold yourself to those same standards, because integrity means expecting from yourself what you expect from others. And when you live this way, something remarkable happens. You stop chasing approval because your standards become stronger than your need for validation. And that shift alone changes the direction of your entire life. Lesson 12. Become hard to replace. Scarcity creates value, and one of the biggest mistakes you can make is becoming so available that people begin taking your presence for granted, because familiarity without appreciation often leads to neglect. And this lesson is not about playing games or pretending to be someone you are not. It is about becoming so focused on your growth, purpose, and development that your value naturally increases over time. Because the truth is that people rarely appreciate what comes easily, and this applies to opportunities, achievements, relationships, and even personal growth. So instead of asking how to become impossible to forget, ask how to become impossible to replace. And the answer begins with building qualities that few people possess: discipline when others seek comfort, consistency when others become distracted, accountability when others make excuses, and purpose when others drift through life without direction, because those traits separate you from the crowd in ways appearance never can. And imagine two different men entering a room, one desperately trying to impress everyone, while the other quietly carries confidence built through years of self-development. Which one leaves the stronger impression? Which one commands more respect? And which one would people remember after he leaves? Because genuine value does not need to announce itself. It reveals itself through actions. And this is why your energy should remain focused on becoming rather than convincing. Becoming stronger instead of explaining your strength. Becoming disciplined instead of talking about discipline. Becoming successful instead of chasing recognition, because results speak with far greater authority than words ever will. And as you continue building yourself, an interesting thing happens. Your need for external validation shrinks while your sense of purpose expands. And by the time others recognize your value, you are no longer dependent on their recognition, because your confidence comes from who you have become, not from who approves of you. The world profits when you stay distracted, emotionally dependent, and hungry for approval, which is why knowledge like this is rarely taught. So if you're ready to take control of your life and relationships, comment, "I choose discipline," like this video, and subscribe to help more men discover these truths before they waste years chasing the wrong things. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint for Men is linked in the comments and is filled with timeless principles that can transform your life immediately. It is now available in audiobook format, so you can listen while walking, training, driving, or jogging. And in just a few weeks, my complete course based on more than 2,000 years of proven Stoic wisdom will be released, giving you a step-by-step blueprint to apply these principles in your relationships and daily life.